Good morning. Beautiful day out there. What a great day to be alive. So welcome to Unity in the heart of St. Paul, a vibrant spiritual community inspiring personal transformation. If you're with us online, we especially want to take time to welcome you and bless you and know that you are connected with us through that divine power of the internet, which is a God thing, I think. So our worship team today is Dennis Curley on piano, Greg Eden on our soundboard. Dennis will lead our congregational songs accompanied by Mary Copit, and our special music is Bill Mann. And our platform assistant today is Faye Nelson. And Robin is here to be a prayer chaplain for anybody who's here live who would like individual prayer after the service. Let's go ahead and open in prayer. So as we just allow ourselves to become present, maybe take a breath, allow that attention to move from the outer to the inner as we connect with that inward presence of the divine. Open and receptive to that living Spirit of God. We hold each person, whether here, online, or out in the community, who's experiencing any challenges, whether they be healing challenge, a relationship challenge, prosperity, whatever that is, we hold them all in that sacred light of Spirit. So as we come together, we take a moment. As the psalmist says, we be still and know that I am God, and that I am is within us. Today we are raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. We raise that veil knowing that no matter what the external conditions are, whatever circumstances that are happening around us, there is always that eye of the storm within us, that place of peace and calm. So as we come together today to connect and worship and be together, we are open to being transformed. So it's with a great joy in our heart that we say, thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. And Dennis and Mary, how about that first song?
A-okay. We can do that. Good morning, everybody. How are you all? Both of the songs are in the White Book today. The first one is number 40, God in Me Can Do Anything. Let's flip to number 40, and let's stand and sing together. God in Me Can Do Anything. Today I choose abundance and universal good. Everything unfolds for me exactly as it should. God in me can do anything, myself I know not how. God in me can do anything, I accept it now. Today I choose forgiveness and let my judgment go. The Christ in me loves everything and everyone I know. God in me can do anything, myself I know not how. God in me can do anything, I accept it now. Today I choose fulfillment for all the world to see. And as I heal my feelings, life is healing me. God in me can do anything, myself I know not how. God in me
Good morning. I'm Faye. I am your platform assistant for today. So, were there any announcements? No one? Yep, okay.
I have to make a quick one. Sorry, I'm going to make the camera just. No. Okay. Hi, everybody. Greg and I are involved in a new Church Basement Ladies musical. How is that possible? Church Basement Ladies 9. It is the 9th in this series of musicals. They're super fun. For those of you who haven't seen them, it's about the women who work in the basement of a church and the funny things that happen to them. Greg is opening this one, as he has done in the past, as the pastor. He is very funny. And so that show opens on September the 7th. It runs all the way through February 15th. Plenty of time to see it. But we're going to try to get a group together. Who should be the point person for that?
We'll figure that out.
Karen Ray. So Karen Ray will be the point person for it. We will definitely get a group together. And details to come. So, location is at the Ames Center in Burnsville, the former Burnsville Performing Arts Center, right off of 35W and Highway 13. So, thank you.
All right, let's all wear our bread bags over our shoes.
Yes, wear the bread bags.
We will now recite our affirmation of faith. Together, there is one and only one presence and power active in my life and in the universe, the all-loving and wise Spirit of God. Let us also recite our vision statement for unity in the heart. Led by Spirit, we recognize God within everyone as we co-create infinite love, peace, and abundance in our global community. The daily word for today is holy. I discover holiness everywhere and in everyone. There are certain places I visit when the presence of God feels especially near, places that feel holy. These may include churches and other houses of worship, shrines, favorite places in nature, any destination where I become vividly aware of the divine presence is holy ground. I remember these words from the Prayer for Protection by Unity poet James Dillett Freeman. Wherever I am, God is. The divine presence I know lives within me. It is the true essence of my life and of every life. Today, my understanding expands. I discover the divine presence all around me and find holiness everywhere. Every person is a holy being. Every place is holy ground. Then Jacob woke from his sleep and said, "Surely the Lord is in this place." And I did not know it. Genesis 26:16. And now we'll have our second congregational song.
And the second song is also in the White Book. It's number 12. So let's grab the White Book one more time. Flip to number 12. It's called I Believe. Let's stand and sing. The second verse is printed at the bottom, but both verses of I Believe. I am overcome with spirit as I grow. When the world closes in, there's one thing I know. Peace and blessings are mine that I've yet to receive, all because I believe. I believe in a loving Spirit who's the air that I breathe. I believe, I'm so glad that I believe. I stand amazed and humbled at it all, that the God of this universe is at my beck and call. I know all that I am and all I'll achieve is because I believe. I believe in a loving Spirit who's the air that I breathe. I believe, I'm so glad that I believe.
The Unity movement was founded on prayer. We would now like to focus our attention on our prayer needs today. Please take a moment to bring to mind any prayers that you may have. Your prayer may be a prayer of joy or gratitude, a prayer of concern for yourself or another, or anything that is close to your heart right now. Now let us pray together. Our loving God, we know that all prayers are answered in the perfect way and time. Our hearts and minds are filled with divine spirit, and we feel the presence of God working through us. We affirm the highest good in all situations. For those present, please place your prayer notes in the basket at offering time. We will hold them in prayer for 30 days and send them to Silent Unity. Also, you may send a prayer request to our prayer chaplains at unityintheheart@gmail.com. And now we will have Bill.
The title of this song is Right Here, Right Now, and that comes around a lot, and I'd just like to invite you, whenever it does, please join me on it. I am in this world for love, right here, right now. Learn how I can give enough, right here, right now. Deep inside I hear a song, playing for my ears alone. Gives me hope and it makes me strong, right here, right now. Right here, right now. Right here, right now. Gives me hope and it makes me strong, right here, right now. This world is such a subtle game, right here, right now. Sometimes I forget my true name, right here, right now. The Spirit always comes to give it, and all I have to do is listen, 'cause I am soul and where I live is right here, right now. Right here, right now. Right here, right now. I am soul and where I live is right here, right now. There is no future and no past when the heart is found at last. No words at all that I can say, but still in the silence my heart prays that in this moment I will stay. Right here, right now. Right here, right now. In this moment I will stay, right here, right now. Right here, right now. Right here, right now. In this moment I will stay right here, right now. In this moment I will stay right here, right now.
Thank you, Bill. That was beautiful. And it's actually very appropriate. So today we conclude our series on a book titled, and I just kind of uselessly use the book, so just as something to focus my attention, on how to lead when you don't know where you're going. I think that's really appropriate for the times. Excuse me. We've been talking a lot about we're in a liminal times, or a time of great change, where the past no longer really is a good benchmark or a really good way to determine what's going to happen in the future. And how do we maintain and how do we live our lives personally, but also in community, when we don't know where it's going and during these times of change? It's a mystery. We don't know what's coming, so we don't actually know what to do, and we're in that space where we kind of have to let go and just kind of trust. So oftentimes in life, we look to the present and to the future, and we project in what we expect to happen and how we should behave and what strategies we should use. Except the fact that the present we're in doesn't look like anything we've ever had before, so our projections don't make any sense. Course in Miracles say, I only see past thoughts. We project our past onto the present and say this should be the way the future is going to unfold. And this is perfectly appropriate. We all do it. Normal times, I expect when I get out of bed that the house is going to look pretty much like it always looks. The cat's going to do what the cat always does, which is annoy me until I feed it, and then wrap around my legs while I'm trying to wash my face. The sun's going to rise in the window. Everything's going to be pretty much the way it always is. The world changes typically incrementally. It doesn't change dramatically really fast. It changes incrementally so that we adjust and know that the future is pretty much going to look a lot like what the past did. This is the way most projections happen in, say, a political projection of who's going to win an election based on past results, or anything where people are projecting what's going to happen in the future. They based on statistical probabilities based on the past. It's what your doctor does when he says you have a 40% chance of surviving this treatment. You are expected to live 6 years or something. I was told that 30 years ago. I was expected to be dead within 6 months. His projection was a little off. I always say that his projection was correct. He just was wrong on what year that I had 6 months left to live. But these are not normal times. Anybody disagree with that? Anybody say, oh no, this is just like what I expected it to be? Yeah, me neither. So the past probably is not a very good indicator of what's going to happen in the future. I keep reading in the paper, I'm a political junkie, and the pundits keep saying, typically, this would be how the election cycle will unfold. And they all then put a comma and say, except this is anything but a typical year. And so most of them, if they're being honest, say, I have no idea what's going to happen you're just going to have to watch. It changes on a day-to-day basis. It reminds me of an old story. And I'm going to use a woman, but it doesn't have to be a woman. A woman's one of those I live in a 62-plus building, and we have a lot of the little gossipy types who like to watch what everybody's doing and then talk about it. So she looks out her window every day, and they have a new neighbor who hangs her laundry out. And she keeps commenting to her partner, they don't know how to do the laundry. Their laundry's so dirty, so dingy. I should go over there and teach them how to do their laundry. The partner says, settle down. They get to do their own laundry. Don't worry about it. So one day she's out and she comes back. And she goes, oh, somebody must have talked to the neighbor. The laundry's so bright and clean. She must have done something different. And the partner says, oh, I forgot to tell you, I cleaned the windows today before you got back. There's a veil clouding our eyes, our sight of what the future may bring. The Apostle Paul in 1 Corinthians says, for now we see in the mirror dimly, but then we will see face to face. Now I know only in part, then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known. We don't see clearly. Our lenses seem to be maybe need a good cleaning. Yet we know, we are assured, as at least one of the songs said today, I think it's I believe. We know, we believe, and we have faith that if we stay in principle, we stay in our teachings, we stay with our faith, that everything will end up working out. I know this to be true because everything always works out. We may not work out the way I think it's supposed to work out, but then the universe never asked my opinion in the first place. Ecclesiastes, did I say that right? Okay, good. One of those words I have trouble with. Chapter 3, verse 11. He has made everything beautiful in its time, and yet they cannot find out what God has done from the beginning to the end. Everything will work out. Everything is beautiful in the end. We just don't know how that unfolds yet. Charles Fillmore even said, in a sense, this is a region of darkness and mystery. Yet it is a great kingdom rich in substance and possibilities. We are in this liminal time that is rich with possibilities that can unfold for us when we stay true to our nature. Everything unfolds in a divine order. We just are unable to discern what that order looks like. It's kind of like a version of chaos theory. Anybody familiar with chaos theory? No matter how chaotic things look when you're up close, if you can step back far enough, there is an order to how things unfold. Times like this, though, can seem disorienting, out of place, and disruptive, but we know it eventually will normalize. I was thinking of this when I wrote this about the Enlightenment. When Copernicus, really is about the beginning of the Enlightenment, said the earth is not the center of the universe. It's the sun. The earth revolves around the sun. People were put to death over that. That was a paradigm-changing time. That was a liminal time in the history of humankind. He was shunned by the church. Now, it's normal. People don't even remember a time when we thought that the earth was the center of all things and everything revolved around us. Though I do know a few people who think they're the center of all things, but that's a different story. And in times when we have an idea like that, many will resist. And then later, even though it's become normalized, some will still resist. They'll actually get really stubborn or aggressive about in their beliefs. Anybody ever run into a flat earther? No, the earth is flat. You know, there's not many, but they can get really, really aggressive about it. But for most of us, we don't even remember a time when we thought the earth was flat, because the change happened and we just adapted to it. I was actually thinking about this with gay marriage. We're all been around for a while. So, 20 years ago, big controversy. The last survey that they did, 70 to 80% of the United States believe that gay marriage should be legal, and government doesn't have anything to do with it. Most don't even recognize a time that gay marriage wasn't legal. They just assume that's the way it's always been. In I think it was 1985, it was not legal to have a commitment ceremony as a gay couple on the steps in Unity Village. And yet, you couldn't recognize that if you went down to Unity Village now. It is so normalized that when I heard that, I was like, that was a revelation to me, that first class in 1985 demanded that they be recognized. The author tells that this experience is called emergent behavior, emergent understanding. I call it emergent consciousness, where something new emerges within us, and at a certain point, we don't even remember a time that it wasn't there. It's a naturally occurring pattern that happens during times of great disruption and confusion. And eventually, a new, novel response to these times unfolds. And actually, out of the disorder comes order. It's a natural pattern. The problem is, it takes patience, it takes perseverance to be in the midst of the disorder until the order emerges. I had an old spiritual teacher say the only way out of situations like that is just to go through it, just to be in it and allow it. I don't know about you, but when I did my character defects in recovery, patience wasn't at the top of my list of things to work on. I'm still a little on the impatient side. In fact, we were talking about on the way in, we have at least in the United States, which is the only country I'm familiar with, we have kind of a McDonald's kind of mentality. I want my stuff and I want it now. Like we have to have Amazon have a drone drop stuff at our doorstep. We can't even wait for somebody to drive over and give it to us. It has to be now. I have to have this now, even though I don't need what I just bought. I gotta have it now. It's funny. And because this takes patience, it takes perseverance, takes time, things unfold in God's time. It's one of the more challenging stages of our spiritual journey. We're in a midst of disorder, disruption, great change, and the problem is there's not a darn thing we can do about it. It's all outside our area of control. And yet, one of the most common comments I hear from ministers out in the field and their congregants is, what do we do about it now? Instead of, we're in this great change, we have to let it unfold. What do I do? How do I act? What am I supposed to do now? It reminds me, anybody have children? Everybody have children? Anybody not a child when they grew up? So it reminds me of vacationing with children. There's only two questions that kids ask on vacation. One has to do with potty. The other one is, are we there yet? Are we there yet? They get in the car hasn't left the driveway. Are we there yet? They don't even care where there is. They just want to be there so that they can be someplace other than in transition. And it kind of reminds me of our congregations and our ministers. We all keep saying, I want it to return to normal. And they're all wise enough to know that normal's not normal anymore, so they don't even really care what normal is. They just want it to be something where they feel like they're standing on stable ground and they can do something to force that to happen. So they push, they strive, they grasp at straws to find that stable ground, because are we there yet? Here's the quick answer. We're not there yet. Relax. I usually tell them, don't try to get, and I have to say this to myself, I'm not teaching anything that I don't need to learn, so I'm not putting myself up here. Don't try to get too far ahead of yourself. Stay centered. If you're in a boat, stay centered in the river. See far enough ahead to see if there's rapids coming, if there's a turn, so you need to do something. But stay centered in who you are and what you're doing. Learn to live. We teach this quite frequently. Learn to live in the flow and allow the times to reveal themselves to us. I'm an old rocker, so love rock music. Love Southern rock, love heavy metal, love soft rock, love folk music. I like rock. From a band called 38 Special. Hold on loosely. If you cling too tightly, you just might lose control. You have to hold on, but you hold on loosely so that the flow happens. If you grasp and hold, you're probably going to fall off somewhere along the line. Just hold on loosely so you can keep control. But, and here's the end of near the end of the talk, because it was all about emerging from the shadow, is there are some things we can do in the midst of this great change where we're in the flow, which is we can begin to experiment. It's a great time to experiment. I've said before, nobody goes in the middle of the lake when it's nice and calm and tips over their boat just for fun. Well, some people do. But mostly if we're in the middle of the lake and it's a nice, calm day, we lay back, we enjoy the sun, maybe do a little fishing, and we float around. Times of change are a great time to challenge the status quo a bit and experiment with some stuff. So Robin, my beloved, frequently, usually when I'm out, because otherwise I'm extremely annoying, rearrange all the furniture in the house. Because if I'm there, I'm making comments like, why are we rearranging the chairs on the deck of the Titanic? And I'm really annoying. And I'll come home, and everything's rearranged. And she doesn't do it because something was wrong or something was bad. When we're experimenting in our congregations, we're not doing it because what we were doing was bad or wrong. We're doing it because we have a time and in a situation where experimentation is fun. It's a good way to try new things. The internet and by the camera and different ways of teaching classes. Just an experiment. And she just wants a new perspective, a new way of seeing how things are. And after a little time, like an emergent idea, I'll go, man, this new way of arranging the furniture really worked. I really like it. And then she laughs at me. And then every once in a while, it's like, this doesn't work at all. And we together put the apartment back the way it was. But a lot of times I just go, oh, I would have never thought of that. And we experimented with a different way of being able to be with each other and create common space. But that sometimes it doesn't work is the next one. This is a great time to experiment, and what happens most often when you try experiments? You fail. Not every experiment. If every experiment you do is successful, then you're not pushing the edges of your experiments. You want to stretch yourself and go, that didn't work very well. Our annual meeting didn't work very well as a hybrid for the online community, and we acknowledged that. We tried something and it just wasn't very effective. Didn't make us bad or wrong, it just meant it wasn't an effective experiment, and we'll try something different next time. Not everything's going to work or be successful. The best we can do, and I remind myself and others of this, is just explore and enjoy the journey. Let the journey actually be the destination for a while. Instead of, are we there yet? The journey itself is the joy. I mean, with kids, you create games for them. You have stuff. So eventually you get to the point, you're someplace, and the kids don't want to get out of the car because they're too busy playing the games that they figured out how to play only in a car. When I had my motorcycle, I would just go out on my motorcycle and not go anywhere. I would just get lost in the countryside. And eventually I'd be someplace and I'd stop and ask people, where am I? So I know how to get back where I was. So we follow our teachings. We're patient. We maybe focus a little bit more on mindfulness practices about what am I feeling, what am I experiencing, what's going on with me right now, and staying true to who we are while living in that flow. And then we remember our third principle, which in the midst of everything that's going on the external world, we're responsible for our thoughts and the experiences that we have, that we can rethink and reframe and recreate every experience to have a new experience of that. We create within our mind a stable base from which to do our work with the external things going on around us. Let's go ahead and turn to a time of meditation.
In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself.
So as we prepare for this time of meditation, I invite you just to be comfortable. If you're at home, if you have anything on your lap or in the way, maybe set it to the side. Move around on your chair, maybe if you're in person or at home, and allow yourself to be comfortable and breathe easily. And as we connect with that inward presence of God, we affirm that divine presence, that divine order that is in the midst of all that is happening. We know these times are unsettling and disruptive, giving us anxiety possibly. And yet, we affirm that that presence, that power, that awareness of the divine is within us and active. And as we trust in that divine presence, we know that we are safe, we are secure, that life is in order, unfolding and emerging. And as that veil lifts, we begin to see clearly clearly what is emerging in the world and who and what our mind to do now. And so as we rest in that presence and rest in that awareness of the divine, affirming that presence in the midst of all conditions and circumstances, we just take time in that stillness to allow that awareness, that order to emerge in us in that stillness. Now, as we emerge from this stillness, we affirm a peace. A peace that passes all understanding, fills our awareness. Grateful for this opportunity to step apart, grateful for this opportunity to connect. We know and we affirm that that order is unfolding for us now. And from that order, we know and affirm all is well. And so it is. Amen.
Which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever.
Thank you, Reverend Ray, for your message and meditation. Now is the time when we acknowledge that all we have comes to us from God, our source. With our gifts, we express our openness to give and receive and our gratitude for God's generous supply.
My gift goes forth on the wings of love, and it lands where it can heal and bless. It returns to me, multiplied 1,000-fold, as the universe says yes, yes, as the universe says yes.
Let's join together in our affirmation for gifts, which is printed in your bulletin. Together, divine love and wisdom flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. We have a thank you letter from Keystone Community Services for our gifts, and I'm not going to read it, but I will just, something popped out at me is that participants at our food shelves have more than doubled since last year, so they are very appreciative of our gifts. Oops, lost my place. Let's join together in the blessing for the gifts. With grateful hearts, we bless our gifts and say, thank you, God, for the abundant blessings we enjoy. We release our gifts as they go out into the world, expressing God's unlimited love, abundance, and supply. For those who wish to contribute electronically, you will find a donate button on our webpage after the service, or you may mail your contributions to Unity in the Heart, 1898 Eaglehart Avenue, St. Paul, Minnesota, 55104. And now we will have Bill again.
Where I'm standing on the edge, I am looking over the entire world. There below me, like a vision, the far horizon, like a flag unfurled. And in my mind, I see this can be just what I want it to be. When I'm dreaming, I imagine sweet perfection drifting down on me. Fills my heart to overflowing like a river that's kissed by the sea. My dream is true. My life becomes whatever I choose. Every moment there is waiting right in front of me, that one chance in a lifetime asking, will I take it? Which way to turn? Left or right? Which way darkness? Which way light? Should I play it safe or risk the big mistake? I forge my life with every choice that I make. When I finally stop resisting and walk away from all fear and doubt, and when my heart has fallen open all my love has come tumbling out. I will be free to be just who I choose to be. There's an endless opportunity to sleep or wake. And every moment there is waiting right in front of me, that one chance in a lifetime, asking, will I take it? Which way to turn? Left or right? Which way darkness? Which way light? Should I play it safe or risk the big mistake? I forge my life with every choice I make. I forge my life with every choice that I make. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bill. Always a blessing to have you with us. Little teaser for this fall. We're going to do, because one of the things that came out of our annual meeting was people wanted an opportunity to, first off, to connect together outside of Sunday, and also for some small group work and possibly some classes. So we're going to do a book study starting in, I don't know the date, that's why this is a teaser. I think it's the second week in October. It's based on a book called The Spiritual Practice of Waiting. Is that? The Spiritual Gifts of Waiting, which should be goes really nice with today's talk. It's about being patient and such. So we'll have a group that will meet here after church on Sunday, and I'm going to create a little brochure booklet that goes with us to inspire some questions. And then I'll either me or someone like me will do a online class as well for those who can't come. If you don't come to person, you can do an online book study, and where there'll be the talk on Sunday, and then we'll also delve deeper into the ideas, which are transformative ideas. Miss Peggy says it helped her get through the pandemic, and that was a good enough testimony for me. So, all right, so let's all everybody stand, and we'll do our peace song followed by our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. God bless. Go in peace.